Where do we start? 4th straight loss in a row, and it was to Man United. All the boo boys saying, Slot out, you've got more ammunition. Everyone saying, drop Salah, you've got more ammunition. Everyone who wants to laugh at Liverpool, haha, you spend so much money on Wirtz and Isak. What a waste of money. Neither of them are helping your team win games. They've got a bit more extra ammunition. That's a tough day. That is a tough day. It's a tough match. It's a tough result. We are in a bad situation. When does it go from a blip to a full-blown crisis? Are we there yet? I tell you what, if we lose against Eintracht Frankfurt on Wednesday in the Champions League, that is a full-blown crisis. That is a full-blown crisis. 5 losses in a row, massive. So let's try and talk about why we lost. Let's talk about the game, performances. I don't even want to make this video, to be honest with you, but I'm going to do it. Whilst I'm talking, feel free to drop your comments below. Argue against anything I'm saying. Agree with it. Let me know your thoughts of why we lost and what we have to do, what Liverpool have to do to right this ship and get back on in good form. Because it's crucial we do that. We have to win against Frankfurt. All right, so obviously conceded in 62 seconds. Was it a foul by Mbeumo clattering into the back of McAllister's head? Maybe. But they let it play on, and United scored because of terrible defending. Sure, we could have been given a foul, and then that situation wouldn't have unfolded. But Van Dijk had zero situational awareness of Mbeumo running behind him, kind of zigzagging a little bit, and then getting in front of him and hitting the ball through Mamardashvili. Goalkeeper didn't do great. He could have done better. But Van Dijk, mate, a defender of your standing, of your experience and brilliance over the years, how were you kept so blindsided by an onrushing Mbeumo? Could you not hear his feet running? Could you not feel his presence? Were you not tempted to look around instead of pointing at Konate and telling Konate to do his job? You do your job, Van Dijk. I'm being harsh. But that was frustrating to see. That was frustrating. So 62 seconds down, we're 1-0 down, and already you could feel everyone in the crowd, you could feel everyone at home. We're all like, oh, this is our 4th straight loss, isn't it? That's telling. I'm sure you felt that, didn't you? When you were watching the match, did you really feel ultra confident we would come back and win it? Or did you feel, oh God, we're going to lose 4 times in a row. It's going to be to United. I think you felt that. I felt that. And that's telling everyone a lot about this Liverpool team, the performances we're putting in and the vulnerability we're showing. And I'm going to say this now. We've turned from mentality monsters last season for sure, for our time during Klopp. And even at the first few matches of this game where we're hitting all those late winners, we've turned from mentality monsters into mentality mice. We're looking so vulnerable, so fragile all the time. Even when we go for a period of 10, 20 minutes where we're passing the ball around and we seem to be in control, don't you always feel like we could concede at any moment? So the rest of the first half, Salah was much more involved. It's good to see that players are now finding Salah. Obviously, Wirtz wasn't playing, and I think Wirtz was one of the worst culprits of not even trying to find Salah. Szoboszlai was looking for Salah a bit more. Bradley was trying to get the ball to him. We were doing some crossfield passes, hoping he could run onto him. They're not as accurate. But it's good to see Salah getting more involved. He wasn't influencing the play we want him to be, influencing it. But we have to be giving him these opportunities if we want him to find form again. And we desperately need our best attacking player to find form. Alexander Isak, where was he? Was he even on the pitch half the time? I genuinely forgot he was in the starting lineup for big chunks of that first half. I just forgot he was there. I didn't see him when the ball would be played into the penalty box. He'd be outside of it. He wouldn't be involved in build-up, yet he would not get onto the end of it. Cody Gakpo was far more involved in that first half than Isak was. Until that one glorious one-on-one chance, Salah playing a through ball to Isak. He's one-on-one with the goalie, and he kind of just takes it a little bit too far to his right, where striking the ball actually pushes him off balance and he kind of has to, twirl a little bit to keep to his feet. So he didn't get a good shot off. It was straight at the goalie rather than into the far left post. And it was an easy save, really. Frustrating first half. Second half was livelier. Second half was pretty lively. Liverpool were in control for the first 15 minutes. They had nothing to show for it, though. They really struggled with insightful and incisive creative and passing movement. And then Salah, if you are of the drop Salah, I'm sure you're going to be screaming at the TV at that moment. Salah misses an absolute sitter. 6 yards out, the ball falls to him from a cross. He's got a beautiful half-volley chance, and then he misses the goal entirely. Just misses the goal entirely. It's inexplicable, really. A player of his ability should at least be hitting the target. It was on his left foot as well. Maybe you could say the ball was a bit too between his feet, but no, his ability, one of the best players in the world, should have been hitting the target minimum and forcing the goalie to pull out a heroic save. Instead, he misses the target entirely. That's a clear sign of how much he's lacking in confidence. He's snatching at chances. He does look a shadow of himself from last season. His head is always down at the moment. I've not seen him smile much. Last season, when he missed goals, there would be a wry smile because he knew he'd score another one later on in the match. Here, he looks tense. He looks frustrated. He looks like he doesn't want to be in this team. He looks angry, but not in a good, let's channel this anger into scoring like a madman. He looks angry in that he's been let down by the team. Is he really, really, really missing Trent? Probably, but he needs to find a way to adapt. And Slot needs to find a way to get him into the game more and more often. And then Isak in the second half still, I noticed him a bit more, but only because he was standing right next to the Man United defenders. Like he wanted to cuddle up to them. Now I get it. You stand next to a defender so you can spin off them, running behind when you're playing for through balls. We weren't giving him through balls. And so instead, he was incredibly hard to find because you can't pass to him when you got Maguire or other Man United defenders literally on him. You have to wait for him to make a move, to create some space for himself, to distance himself from the opposition players. And he wouldn't do that. So for the midfielders, I can imagine that was quite frustrating. He was then pulled off. Ekitike brought on in his place. Ekitike showed hunger. He showed a lot more hunger than Alexander Isak did. And he really went at it. He made a lot more movement. And therefore, he got the ball a lot more. He dribbled. He went to the left flank. He came a bit deeper. He tried to go around players. He took some long shots. He was hungry for it. He just didn't have the accuracy or just nothing played out for him. Nothing quite worked for Ekitike, but he tried his best. And then Chiesa immediately got more involved and, of course, got an assist. We need to play Chiesa more. He can't just be an impact sub. I think we need to give him 4 games. He provided the short, low-driven cross to Gakpo to tap in. That was more thanks to Chiesa than it was to Gakpo, but thankfully Gakpo was in the right spot to just tap it in. But Chiesa took his opportunity, saw the awkward bounce after some intricate passing from Ekitike in the centre of the penalty area. Ball spills out to Chiesa, takes it cleanly, controls it, sharp, low cross right to Gakpo's foot. All he had to do was just divert it into the goal. Nice. We're back on track. 1-1. Did you feel we were going to go and win it? I didn't. I put in my notes, we have to push on now. Don't get sucker punched again. What happened? We got sucker punched, didn't we? I then put FFS, you know what that stands for. Maguire header, sucker punched. Now, it was a wonderful, wonderful cross from Bruno Fernandes. You have to give him credit for that. If any one of our players had put that cross in, we'd say, GG, that was excellent. And then, of course, everyone knows Maguire is always a threat from set pieces with his head. He wasn't being marked. Where were Van Dijk and Konate? Why weren't they on Maguire? Why weren't they skin tight to him, making sure he couldn't get any purchase on that header? He did get his purchase. He got his header. Mamardashvili couldn't have saved it. I don't blame him too much for that one. And then I wrote down, we've gone from mentality monsters to mentality mice. This game is done. I had no belief we would come back, score another goal. We've been struggling to score goals, yet we've been conceding 2 goals every game like we're giving out candy. That's a recipe for losing matches. We are too fragile, too vulnerable at the moment. The defence can't buy a clean sheet. Gakpo did have some chances. He had a glorious chance from a Frimpong cross once Frimpong replaced Salah. Missed the net. Missed the goal entirely. That's also unforgivable. He was unchallenged. He was isolated. He had all the time in the world. At least hit the target. What is happening with our shooting and heading accuracy at the moment? It's way off. It is nowhere near what you need for an elite club. The accuracy needs to go way higher. And it's not just on shooting, it's also on passing. Our accuracy is all over the place. What drills are we practicing in training if we're not practicing our finishing and our passing? Or if we are, is it because we have become mentality mice and the players are just panicking at random moments? I hope it's not that, because that's harder to fix. At the end, we got a bit desperate. Times Van Dijk was playing striker. Then he switched, went back deep as Kanate played striker. We looked like we were desperate for ideas. We couldn't find any. It's worrying. It's worrying times. Tell me, are we in full-blown crisis mode now? If we beat Frankfurt on Wednesday in the Champions League, would that be a good sign that we're starting to come back into it? Is it too late? We're only 4 points behind Arsenal. Mathematically, no. We've still got a great chance to do well this season. But are the performances so off form that you just don't believe we will adapt and correct in time, and that we've got more losses ahead of us over the next 5-10 games? Let me know in the comments your thoughts. I appreciate you watching this. Give me a subscribe, a like, help me grow. Tiny fan channel, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.